Hello underachievers. So today we've got quite a special video for you. So I am a YouTuber, which means that I will eventually get hate from people on the internet that don't like me. So up until recently, I haven't really gotten the worst hate. There was a time where, I was getting exposed pages where people would release like my birth name, where I lived, my parents' name, all that stuff. That was an incredible time. I might speak about that at some point, but nowadays I don't really get that much hate, which is surprising considering I'm LGBT and I'm annoying, but there are a few people whose usernames I do recognize, and believe it or not, I remember things sometimes. There are a few people who constantly send hate, and I used to delete these comments because, you scroll through your comments, you don't want there to be negativity there because obviously they're trolls, they'll bring in more people who will fight them and it's just not worth the effort. But because I wanted to make a video like this, I've stopped deleting these comments, so we have a quite hefty amount to read today. Today's video is about Gary Lee. Usually I'm completely against naming and shaming people online if they're not doing that much harm because, it exposes their personal life because they usually have pictures or videos of themselves on their channel. But no, I feel fine talking about Gary Lee because this person has no videos on the channel and their profile picture is not a picture of them. I don't even think their name is Gary Lee, and if it is, that's unfortunate because, the Garys are dying out. And maybe if we're lucky, Gary Lee will die out soon, and that is not a death wish for Gary Lee. Most people called Gary are over the age of 50. There was only like 28, I think, babies born in 2013 called Gary. The name is gonna die, and so are you, Gary Lee. So who is Gary Lee, and when did I notice him commenting on my videos? To be completely honest with you, I have no idea. I don't know who Gary Lee is. I don't wish to know who Gary Lee is, but he leaves some quite funny comments, so I will show you guys them. So here's my YouTube comments box. Let's type in Gary Lee. So as you can see, he's left quite a few comments. My computer cannot load very quick. I think we should start with a solid comment. So, Noahfinnce is a nasty little bitch girl. The so-called boy that needs a tampon. I don't know where the tampon thing came from, because this video is about unpopular opinions. Some boys need tampons, I don't, but nasty little bitch girl. I've never been called that before, even when I was a girl, because I was quite nice. So this guy called Steven, I recognize his username and profile picture. He comments quite a few times, and he always comments really nice things. He commented, quite a long comment. It was quite nice. And then Gary Lee just says, "You clowns are mentally ill." So Gary Lee's not wrong. I'm not really sure about Steven, but I am mentally ill. It's fine. I'm chill with admitting that. You can call me mentally ill. I'm not going to take it as a compliment. I'm not going to take it as an offensive comment either. Yes, I have issues. Don't we all? Especially you, Gary Lee. So a lot of the times I get supportive comments, but I also get comments where people, trying to figure themselves out, trying to look for help from me. They want advice from me, which is interesting. So I'm not going to read out this comment because I'm not sure if they want me to read it out, but Gary Lee steps in, as he does. "Sad your life is such a mess, and you look to a YouTube clown for medical advice." Fair point. "Noah is not a male, just a mutilated female on drugs." So, you know what? I don't do drugs, okay, Gary, so you got that wrong. Right. A lot of people call testosterone a drug. Maybe it is, maybe I'm uneducated, but it's a hormone. I would say it's a hormone, not a drug, but, You are a useful fool planning to wreck your long-term health. Useful fool. Maybe his first language isn't English. Maybe he means useless? "Studies show higher blood levels of testosterone increases the risk of breast cancer." And you know what? That could be true. But also, I don't have tits, or breasts, or boobies anymore. So luckily I don't have to worry about that, but I'm sure you appreciate that, Gary Lee. Here's another standalone comment, very interesting. It's on a video where I talk about why I'm not getting bottom surgery. "Selling mental illness." I'm not entirely sure what he means by selling mental illness. Maybe it's because that was a video that I get views from, and I get money from YouTube. Sad. Okay. "If a man can pretend to be a woman, or vice versa, why can't he also claim to be non-human?" It's a bit of a jump there, isn't it? It's a bit of a jump. It makes sense that people with gender dysphoria will transition and, label themselves as the other gender, or a different gender. That makes sense. Non-human. Now, I don't know about that one. It's the same argument when it comes to, gay marriage. People were saying that if a man can marry a man, that means a man can marry a dog, or a man will marry a bear. Where does it stop? Such a relativistic conclusion is regretfully here. It's called trans species, also known as furries or otherkins. So, I have already made a video about furries, but furries do not think they're a different species. They don't think that. Can't speak for otherkin, but furries don't think they're a different species. It's like cosplaying. It's like a what's the word? I'm looking for a word. Can you tell me the word? It's like a persona, but it's a fursona. They don't think they're a dog. People with species identity disorder consider themselves non-human, and are featured at homosexual parades. The arguments used by the trans species movement to question their human status are essentially the same as those of the transgender movement. Alright, Gary Lee, you got me! So Gary Lee has this thing where he likes to use big science words and big English words to make him seem smart. Doesn't make you smart, Gary Lee. Here is a video where I react to trans cringe. It was a good video. Everybody thought I was gonna be mean. I'm not that asshole. Noah is a mutilated, mentally ill female. I mean, technically correct. I can't change my sex. My sex is female, which sucks. I'm not here to deny that, though. Mutilated, not so sure about. Hold on. If you're here to talk about my perfectly formed breasts, then okay. A human being is not a disembodied self, sitting behind a control panel in the mind, possessing some indubitable intuition about its true sex, in brackets, which incidentally always just so happens to draw on culturally specific images and ideals of embodied masculinity and femininity. We are our bodies, and these bodies aside, also, aside from those rare intersexual exceptions, male or female. I mean, I'm not a guy just because I want to be like the ideal hypermasculine self. I am just, I'm just Noah. I don't really think about that stuff. New research finds that transgender and gender non-conforming youth are diagnosed with mental health conditions much more frequently than young people who identify with the gender they are assigned at birth. So, I don't think people that leave comments like this realize that they contribute to young people who are trans having these mental illnesses. Imagine a world where everybody was just nice. That would be great. I'm sure there'd be a lot less people with depression and anxiety. Trans people are more likely to be bullied. Trans people, especially trans women of colour, are more likely to be murdered just because they are trans. Do you not think that, society being dicks to trans people has an impact on their mental health? The rest of his comment is just talking about how trans people are more mentally ill than cis people. Already explained why that makes sense. That's got nothing to do with them being stupid or anything like that. So obviously this is YouTube, and nobody on YouTube is straight, so somebody asked, do you like girls or boys? I didn't respond to this, but Gary Lee did. Thanks, man. Noah is a mutilated female that wants to date males. Mental illness on parade. He's got a real thing against people who are mentally ill. Let's have a quick fire round. I don't know that you're a girl. That is obvious. She is mentally ill. You are a female and always will be. She is a female. No need to take it up the ass. So of course I haven't read all of Gary Lee's comments. That would take too much time. But I do have a personal favourite. This is my favourite so far. If there's more, maybe we'll have a new favourite. But Noah is a walking load of feces. Her head is so far up her arse she can tongue her own tonsils. That sounds very unpleasant. She suffers from frequent imbecilic episodes. I genuinely don't know what he's talking about. I'm a bit weird. So yeah, Gary, you're right, Gary Lee. She embarrasses herself. And worse, she imagines she is wise. In the future, she should edit her responses of unnecessary material before attempting to impress us with her insight. The evidence that she eats her own poop is obvious to all readers. So that's all the Gary Lee comments for today. I could make another version of this video, but I think at the end of the day, what you should take out of this is that these comments aren't hurtful and they shouldn't be hurtful because, I know myself, I know how my brain works, I know that I'm not how he thinks I am. The hateful comments that people leave you are just their perception of you. They don't know you, so don't take them personally. And fair enough, if you do take them personally, I can see why, because they're kind of nasty. But stuff like this just makes me happy. It's something to laugh at, and that's what you should take from it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't send Gary Lee hate. Obviously, I don't really know how you can do that because they've not got any videos. Have a good day or don't. See you later, losers. I'm gonna punch this. This is a new lens. I don't really want to punch it. This is Evan's old lens. Okay, so we can pretend I'm punching it because I'm out of focus.